Lewis Hamilton, one of the greatest drivers to ever grace the F1 grid, has just dropped a massive bombshell that is shaking up Ferrari's entire structure. After weeks of speculation, whispers in the paddock, and underwhelming results, Hamilton came forward with a bold statement that has raised eyebrows across the sport. His recent comments aren't just about performance, but they reveal a growing divide within Ferrari, one that's hard to ignore. This isn't just about a couple of bad races. It's deeper, much deeper, and Hamilton, with his 7 world championships, has just exposed the true extent of it. After a rough start to the 2025 season, Ferrari knew they needed to make drastic changes. Hamilton, fresh into his Ferrari journey, was expected to bring stability, leadership, and, of course, results. But after only 3 races, Hamilton has already expressed his frustrations. These aren't just about the car's performance, no, it's much more than that. Speaking after the Japanese Grand Prix, Hamilton stunned the paddock with a brutally honest admission. There's a deficit between the two sides of the garage, and something's off with his SF25. He didn't mince words. On my side, something is underperforming, he said. For those in the know, this was a direct hit to the heart of the team's integrity. It was clear Hamilton wasn't just talking about a small tweak or an adjustment in settings. He was suggesting that the car he's been given is fundamentally different from Leclerc's, and that, folks, is a huge issue. In Formula One, equality between teammates is paramount. Both cars should give their drivers the same chance to compete. But if Hamilton's side of the garage is facing these issues, while Leclerc's car seems to be working fine, you can bet this is going to create major tensions. The Ferrari SF25 has been a car full of potential, or so it seemed at the start. With Hamilton's arrival, expectations soared. However, what followed wasn't exactly what fans were hoping for. The car simply hasn't lived up to its promise. Whether it's handling issues, tire degradation, or balance problems, the SF25 has proven to be more of a liability than a weapon in Ferrari's fight for the title. And it's not just a one-off problem. This issue is deep-rooted. Hamilton's frustration with the SF25 is not new. In fact, he's been vocal about the lack of consistency in the car since the beginning of the season. He's been struggling to get the feedback he needs from the car, which makes extracting performance nearly impossible. A car that feels unpredictable and unstable isn't something any driver, especially someone of Hamilton's caliber, can trust no matter how talented they are. Now let's talk about the pivotal moment when Hamilton revealed just how bad things were. It wasn't just about a rough weekend in Japan, it was the culmination of weeks of frustration. After finishing 6th in the Bahrain Grand Prix, 34 seconds behind the winner, Oscar Piastri, Hamilton laid it all out. The pace was bad, the handling was off, and the pit stops were disastrous. In fact, at one point during the race, he came over the radio, absolutely frustrated. "I can't even brake anymore. It's just ridiculous." That statement wasn't just frustration. It was a cry for help. Hamilton, a seasoned veteran, was doing everything he could, but the SF25 wasn't playing ball. The car simply didn't respond the way it should have, especially when compared to rivals like McLaren and Red Bull. These issues weren't isolated to Bahrain. They've been brewing for a while, and Hamilton's honesty has only amplified the concerns. After the Bahrain disaster, Red Bull's leadership wasn't the only team under pressure. Ferrari's core team, from team manager Christian Horner to technical director Pierre Wascher, was gathered in crisis talks, trying to figure out how they could salvage their season. The team knew they couldn't afford another poor performance. It wasn't just about Bahrain anymore, it was about the entire season. The problems were clear: lack of grip, poor balance, overheating tires, and an overall car that just wasn't competitive. Christian Horner, in one of the more candid moments of the weekend, admitted, "We have a lot of problems. The car is not the fastest, and the pit stops aren't working. That is not acceptable." For the first time, it was clear that Ferrari was admitting to the struggles they were facing, and they knew the clock was ticking. However, as the race weekend unfolded, Hamilton gave a surprising response. He remained cautious but optimistic. While he acknowledged the car's continued struggles, he also praised the effort of the team in trying to improve it. "We're making strides," he said, "but we know this isn't going to close the gap completely." Hamilton is not a driver who gives empty compliments, so when he says the team is making progress, it holds weight. But it also emphasizes the fact that progress is still slow, and Ferrari is a long way from catching the top teams. Here's where it gets really interesting. According to insiders, Hamilton's contract with Ferrari, which technically runs until 2028, has a secret clause that could allow him to leave the team as early as this summer. That's right, Hamilton could walk away from Ferrari mid-season. The clause is activated if Hamilton drops outside the top 3 in the driver standings, and after Bahrain, he's only 6 points ahead of George Russell in 4th place. With a few more bad weekends, Hamilton could be facing the very real possibility of leaving Ferrari much earlier than expected. This clause could completely change the trajectory of the 2025 season, not just for Ferrari, but for the entire Formula One grid. If Hamilton were to leave, the impact would be seismic. The question is, will it even come to that? Will Ferrari be able to fix the SF25 in time to keep Hamilton in the fight, or will a poor performance in the next few races push him closer to the exit? The clock is ticking. The next race at Imola is critical. Ferrari is planning significant upgrades, but if they don't work, they may lose Hamilton for good. Insiders are saying that these next few races will determine whether the SF25 can evolve into a championship contender or if Ferrari is stuck in a never-ending cycle of failure. If Hamilton activates the exit clause, the entire driver market will explode. Mercedes, who have been vocal about their admiration for Hamilton, would be quick to welcome him back. But let's not forget about Aston Martin, who are planning to introduce new Honda engines in 2026. Could Hamilton make the switch? And if he does, what does that mean for Red Bull? Could they be losing their star driver at the peak of their dominance? The 2026 engine regulation changes are coming, and with them a new chapter in Formula One.